Pablo Picasso is a Spanish expatriate painter, sculptor, printmaker, ceramicist, and stage designer who had worked on his art for 80 years out of his 91 years of living. He was born in Malaga, Spain in 1881. His father was a painter and an art teacher. Picasso always doodled in class, showing that he had artistic talent since he was very young. After he got accepted into two great schools, he quickly rebelled against the strict rules and studies of the classic artist. When he returned to Barcelona, he began a lifelong process of experimentation and innovating, breaking from the classical method he had been initially taught. The first phase of his artwork was the Blue Period. During the Blue Period, Picasso was lonely and depressed over the death of his close friend, and almost all of his paintings are dominated by cool colors, mostly blue. The next phase of his artwork was the Rose Period, where he overcame the depression and was madly in love with a model. The Rose Period was when he started to use warmer colors. The final phase was Cubism, an artistic movement which was made by Picasso himself. In 1907, he produced a painting, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, which was unlike any of his other paintings. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon is depicting 5 nude prostitutes. It is abstracted and distorted, with sharp geometric features and stark blotches of blues, greens, and grays. This painting is considered as the precursor and inspiration of Cubism.
Picasso painting Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, that once stood as a representation of prostitutes, now stands for eating disorders and the dangers of them. The girl on the far left side represents binge eating. This disorder is characterized by the recurrent episodes of eating large quantities of food. In our new revision of this piece, she is depicted having a large belly to show the large amount of food she has just consumed. Her face has been changed to orange tone to show gluttony or the excess in eating. The girl second to the left side is the eating disorder PICA. This is the craving and compulsive eating of non-food substances for over a period of a month. Paper, sand, and chalk are just a few examples of what people with this disorder eat. In our painting, this woman is shown not only holding onto the clothing covering up her body, but also a piece of paper. The paper is her non-food substance that she cannot help but eat. The center woman of the painting shows the eating disorder bulimia nervosa. This disorder is known for engaging in out-of-control overeating, followed by unhealthy purging, laxatives, or excessive exercise. The woman in our painting is seen throwing up a red liquid. This represents her inner demon, her telling her to throw up, although she herself does not want to. The tiara in the bottom center represents all the women's wants to be perfect. Much like a competition, they are fighting to be accepted into our society filled with stereotypes. In this world, in order for a woman to be beautiful, they must also be skinny too. girl on the upper right-hand corner represents the eating disorder, night eating syndrome. This disorder is characterized by the delayed clinical pattern of food intake. People with this feel that they have no control over their eating patterns and often feel shame over their condition. This disorder is shown on the painting by her wearing a sleeping mask. Also, she is representing one of the women of society who don't believe they have a disorder. Lastly, the girl on the bottom right-hand corner represents anorexic nervosa. This disorder is known for people having intense fear of gaining weight. They also refuse to maintain body weight and use dangerous measures to lose weight. In our painting, her mask has been replaced with a wider, more fuller mask. This new mask represents how she feels about herself, fat, ugly, and overweight, though in reality she is skinny. Along with the women above her, these women refuse to accept that they have an eating disorder. They do not understand their disorder and the dangers of them. The red that covers most of the background brings attention to the women in the painting. This color represents the danger these women face. It also brings awareness to the suffering of them as well.
My experience with an eating disorder was extremely devastating. As much as I felt accomplished by how much weight I lost, I felt alone, depressed, lethargic, and helpless. I was required to see a psychiatrist weekly who immediately put me on antidepressant medication. This in itself made me uneasy and feel like a failure. I was obsessed with maintaining a low body weight through diet and exercise, and quickly it became a downward spiral. I feared gaining weight more than anything in the world, which created a fear in eating food. I needed intensive therapy to help manage these obsessive thoughts, which was a very long process. Ultimately, I did not enjoy the person I had become. In 2003, I was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder with a control in eating. I had lost a significant amount of body weight, lost my menstrual cycle, and was depressed. My disorder had developed so innocently in an attempt to get in the best physical condition possible to perform at my best in my sport. I noticed quick changes in my body and fitness, so I continued eliminating more and more foods and increasing my exercise regimen. I lost control of being in too much control of diet and exercise, which became extremely unhealthy. After battling and overcoming an eating disorder, my entire perspective on life has changed. I have a deep appreciation for people who struggle psychologically and physically, and have become exceptionally closer to my family and friends who supported and helped me through the most challenging time of my life. I now am on a mission to raise awareness, educate, and help others who may be battling similar thoughts and behaviors relating to eating disorders, anxiety, depression, body image, and exercise. The worst feeling is feeling like you are alone, and by sharing my story, my hope is for people to know they aren't alone.